Good, how are you?
Not too bad.
How you doing, Stump?
I'm great, yourself.
No, Dan is over there.
You guys good?
Some pretty seen from some of the other running backs other than Nick Chubb. We know what he can do, but Jerome Ford coming in, looking to make a splash in his second year. Some of the other guys, what do you see him?
Guys competing hard, focusing on what we got to do and seeing their athletic ability.
What were you able to see from that first preseason game?
Well, from Jerome and Nick, of course, didn't play, but from John Kelly, things that he's been displaying all since he's been here, ability to run the ball, ability to catch the ball, make plays. Same thing from Demetric Felton, had an opportunity to settle in as a running back, showed his ability to make plays, and Hassan Hall as well. They did what they were supposed to do. First preseason game, we were kind of like in a match where we're not going to blitz, a whole lot. So both teams were on that same phase. We didn't get a chance to see them pick up, but we have in training camp.
How much has Jerome, or in what ways has Jerome improved from this point last year?
I would say just an understanding of the offense, improve as a person in terms of being a better teammate. And also, we know what he did with special teams in terms of kickoffs. Hopefully, he'll still have an opportunity to do that and prove he can be even better at it.
You think he can catch the ball out of the backfield? You've seen enough of that. We haven't seen it in games. Jerome.
Well, absolutely. All the backs can catch the ball out of the backfield. You haven't seen as much from Nick as you have, but you will see more this upcoming season.
What has Nick done to improve in that area? Or was he always good at it and he just never really got the opportunity?
That's exactly right, America. He was always good at it, never got the opportunity. I think Nick may have dropped last year one ball, but he's good in everything that he does, and he always tries to work on all the traits that he does well. And if he's slacking in one, he tried to work to improve in that as well.
I remember in Kansas City, in the playoff game in Kansas City, he was kind of mad at himself for dropping a couple of short passes. And it seemed like he really made an effort after that to go out and get better at it. Does that have anything to do with it?
No, I mean, it was a screen pass that he actually dropped, and he's been great in screens. Any receiver, if they're not focusing on the ball, because they know they have good hands, they have a tendency every now and then to turn away before they actually tuck the ball, and as a result, usually it ends up in a drop.
Stump, it looked like Felton feels more natural in the backfield than he did in the slot, doing what he was doing last year. Do you see that?
I see the fact that so far this training camp, he has not had to go into the receiver's room. So he's not fluctuating mentally where he's supposed to be. Now, I'm constantly drilling him in on the plays of the receivers, because if something was to happen to one of those guys, he needs to be able to go in and play. We don't need to be able to wait until the next week to say, now you got to play. He needs to be able to go in and play right away.
Now, the question about him, I would think, in the backfield, is he too light? Can he compete in real games at that position?
Absolutely, he can. I mean, we're not asking him to be a starter. We're asking him to be a part-time player for the most part. But to be successful on special teams, he's got to be special on special teams in order to make this ball club. He can do things as a running back and as a receiver. So he's got to focus in primarily on special teams, and if given an opportunity, he'll be successful as a running back.
Stump, I know last year, like we talked about Demetric, and you talked about Demetric and his versatility being like one of his strengths with being able to play either position. But just coming back into that room and how has he handled that transition mentally and all those sort of things?
Oh, that's not an issue for him. The biggest thing is going to be in protection, and we're not going to ask him to do that a whole heck of a lot. But when given the opportunity, when it presents itself, he's got to be able to do it.
Being the run game coordinator also, can you talk about the transition to this kind of shotgun and pistol running game?
Well, we ran shotgun last year. Well, we've always ran shotgun, so that's not a big deal. And pistol it's not a big deal. We're still running the same plays for the most part, and the backs can adjust to whatever position that they're in.
So do the wide zone out of that?
Yes, we do.
And you think Chubb had to learn proper footwork and spacing out of that? Or no?
No, he's been doing that ever since I got here, 4 years. So that's not a big deal for him.
Why is it that historically running games have suffered out of the shotgun, and now they don't seem to?
Well, I think it's probably more due to the back than anything else. Sometimes these guys are impatient. They start cutting before they should, and they don't allow any of the interior linemen or the tight ends to be able to get on their block. So we've been working constantly on pressing our run tracks.
Surprised are you, perhaps, that Kareem has not found a new home yet? And what do you think a team would be getting if they signed Kareem at this point?
You know, I really don't want to speak on Kareem. I'd rather focus in on the backs that we have here. Everybody watch film. I don't know how they evaluate people, you know, but I think the guys we have here right now are doing pretty good.
Stump, another off season where we see Nick like squatting 600 pounds back at home before he gets here, and I guess just the work he's willing to put in, like with that, and getting better in the pass game, even though he's in your the veteran now in this position. What does that say about him?
He's never taken anything for granted. I mean, he's always going back to his high school. That's where he's working out. He has an impact on those young men, and he still gets his work in. So we're pleased with where he's at, and he's constantly, working to maintain and be one of the top backs in the league.
You mentioned patience. Is that one of Chubb's attributes?
That sometimes he's not as patient in the gun as he is from the dot or from the home position, but that's something we're working on.
And he's got to be patient out of gun.
Absolutely.
Stump, you mentioned that Nick Chubb just maybe didn't get those opportunities to be a pass catcher in his role. But when he is doing that, obviously he does what he's asked a lot. That's kind of the attribute you guys have given him. But has he had a reaction to having more of that work in training camp and having that potential to maybe take that role on?
Well, he's got more work in training camp at that role because we don't have Kareem, which I'm not going to talk about. So now Nick is in there on third down as well. So yes, he's had an opportunity to run more of those routes. Even though he did it during training camp the past 3 or 4 years, he was not that guy, unless he had to be.
But is that something that could maybe translate to the season with no Kareem Hunt being here if that continues, right? Is that something Nick Chubb would do in a regular season?
Oh, absolutely. And he did it some during the regular season the past couple of years if Kareem was hurt. But now he's going to be their first, second, and third down guy. When he's tired or when coach wants to substitute Jerome in, Jerome will go in as that 1, 2, 3 down back.
What made you guys so confident, since Jerome hasn't been able to get any reps yet in the pros, what makes you feel like this is going to keep him really good at it?
Well, we're on his butt about it. He's bought into wanting to be that guy. So, these guys are working extremely hard. They know if they do their job, it will allow everybody else to do their job.
How does he Jerome complement Nick in the way they run?
Well, they both are fast. They both are explosive. Nick probably has a little more power than Jerome does, but I would hope Jerome would try to match the stats that Nick can put up.
A year ago, almost in the same spot on the same day, you were very high on Jerome as a rookie coming in. How different is he now? Where's his growth been?
I think his growth has been just in having confidence in himself, getting along better with his teammates. That's a huge thing, and understanding that there's the things that comes with a rookie that he really didn't accept last year. Well, he's still a rookie for 9 games, so he's going to do some of those things that he didn't do last year.
Stump, last year you guys ran inside zone maybe about 27 to 30 times, but it looked like you guys maybe hit that number 15 times on Thursday night. Can you talk about the transition for running backs of switching up their landmarks, their track a little bit to more inside zone, especially out of gun, than they were used to last year?
Well, of course, inside zone we're much tighter. We're focusing on the guards, whereas in outside zone you're wider. You're focusing either on the tight ends or the ghost tight end.
Stump, Nick had over the last one, guys.
A little bit about how much running back touches can wear on a guy and how they can make you kind of wear down over the season. With him taking more passes now, are you worried about managing the number of touches he has? Are you worried about how it might wear on him over the course of the season?
Not at all. We got a regen room here. Nick does everything he's supposed to do in order to take care of his body. We're looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right. See you next year. All right.
How do you think man-to-man coverage plays to the strengths of especially your top three, Denzel, Greg, and Mark?
Chris, that's a great question. You know, we talk about being the tip of the spear.
Yeah.
So, like, the room has been built with press in mind first, our speed, length, and athleticism, and that's across the board on all of our guys in the room. We're extremely competitive, so us getting to work, keeping the focus on it, it's really going to help our team. Excuse me?
I'm saying that you guys looked, the defensive ends looked dominant in some of those red zone periods, the Greenbrier, and really shutting things down. So, I mean, you had to be happy with the aggressive nature of the play.
Absolutely. And really, that's one of like Coach Schwartz's biggest things. With our toughness, our effort, and our passion, we're really working to like keep stacking days as Coach Stefanski has really like illustrated for our team. And our guys really have that internal camaraderie amongst each other.
Who's been working out nickel like second team? Mitchell, number one guy there?
You know what? It's really like by committee. You know, we value versatility, like we've said a lot organizationally. So from Denzel to Cameron, also to Mike Ford, have really been like doing a really good job in there.
So Emerson doesn't go there.
You know, if the matchup requires that, we'll definitely put a tough guy in there.
Brandon, you know, Martin has kind of talked about he likes when quarterbacks throw his way and target him. He really liked that last year, but he's such a quiet guy, but kind of still has that confidence. Just what have you learned about that aspect of his personality, I guess?
You know what? He tip of the spear. You know, he's a young man that when we talk about toughness, he really embodies that and really encourages our room to really put that at the forefront. So like when we're in the red zone period, as Miss Mary, you know, really asked us about, that's really a big thing that really gets our group going.
A year ago, he had that pick six in the first Jacksonville. Was it Jacksonville? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Did you see a different? Did that just propel him to the kind of year he ended up having?
Technique and fundamentals. Like he's a young guy. Like we always are going to put the focus on the work, but he's a young guy. He's a come in early, stay late guy. So with his technique and fundamentals, like you really see his development over time.
But the confidence he got from that game, did that have an effect?
Absolutely. But I would want to say before the game, just his daily habits really help him propel in that game.
What do you see? What have you seen out of Cam Mitchell so far?
Great toughness, you know. And again, like he's a start player for us in every imagine of the word. You know, he's very instinctive. He's very aware. He's a young guy that has very good ball production, and he's a young guy that's going to help us inside and out.
Talking about the confidence, did you see it grow after the kick of Deshaun and then the fourth down play you made Thursday night?
You know, much like Emerson, you know, like he's really put the focus on the work. Like he's building daily habits, and he's really stacking them daily. So when he's coming out in the film room as well as out here on the grass, he keeps moving forward.
When you said he's a start player, you mean starter mentality?
No, sir. For us organizationally, he's a smart, tough, accountable, resilient team guy.
Oh, that's what start stands for.
Yes, sir.
It seems like Greg came into camp with a lot of energy and a great attitude and new number and just sort of ready for a fresh start and a new beginning. What have you seen from Greg?
Sure. You know, we put an emphasis on that as a defense. And, you know, positive energy is always the best energy. And with us being the tip of the spear for our defense, it's really good to see him leading the charge in that.
Good.
Now, I know Rodney's not exactly in your room, but I know you guys are around him and you see him. What kind of impact have you seen him have on the secondary as a whole and defense?
Sure. Leadership. You know, he's a young guy that he has a lot of reps on task. So when we're talking about stacking days, fortunately, we have somebody in the room that he's done that at a high level. And anytime that you have a guy that's won a Super Bowl but has really good work habits in the classroom and outside, it just leaks over to the whole group.
With Denzel, you know, we've seen him move inside a little bit. What makes him good when you guys move him?
He has all of the tools, you know, and when you ask about Denzel, he has a rare blend of press, speed, length, athleticism, and he's really sticky with his ball production.
Does the idea of him kind of playing everywhere and kind of being able to maybe even follow guys around, does that kind of get you excited, and does that sort of bring something out in him too?
Oh, absolutely. It gets us excited as an organization and defensively. Whenever you can have a guy that's sticky in coverage, a guy who is very competitive, that allows our pass rushers to get one more second closer to the ball, and that allows us to do the most important thing, and that's to take the ball away for our defense.
You talk about versatility in the wide receivers room, but what does versatility do to the cornerbacks room? What can that provide for them?
Position flex. And when I say position flex, situationally, it allows us to have really, really good matchups. And we talk about premium matchups. And something over the years, we've done a really good job competing and really emphasizing us being the tip of the spear with it.
So I know there are some situations that you and Schwartz will want 3 safeties as opposed to 3. Some situations you'll want the dime to 3 safeties on the field.
Sure.
Some 3 cornerbacks. But Emerson's kind of in between, isn't he? Big enough to be classified almost as a safety. Does that give you an advantage?
Yes, sir. And again, the number one thing on our defense that we want to emphasize is toughness. And that's something that he gives us across the board, both on the third level and as a second level player.
Can you talk about the value of having maybe a true post safety that's been missing from the room for in previous years, and kind of how that takes the pressure off your corners?
Sure, range. And with us really putting a premium on communication, making the complex simple, having a guy that has range from red line to red line, allowing guys to get lined up, it keeps everybody chill, as we say in the defensive room.
What goes into that decision whether to have the nickel corner or the third safety? What goes into the decision to either have that nickel corner or a third safety on a given play, a given package?
Sure, situational matchups. You know, we're really big on winning matchups and winning the situation. So if we have premium matchups, as far as with it being a safety on the tight end or with it being more of a passing guy, we'll go ahead and we'll apply it as such.
Brandon, Martin talked about, like, in this system, removing, like, if-then statements
Sure.
for the defense. Like, have you seen them kind of latch on to that? I don't know if simplification is the right word, but just kind of knowing where they're supposed to be without having to deal with that sort of.
Yes, ma'am. That allows our playmakers to, like, play fast. We talk a lot about removing the seat belts, not having any handcuffs. So that way we can process fast and we can execute.
With Martin and his size, how important is it to have all those different body types? Even at safety, a lot of them just have all different sorts of size.
Sure, premium matchups. So I know like a big question is who's going to be in the slot. So having that arraignment of guys, like you're saying, that have different position flex of length, different situational flex with their athleticism, it allows us to match up all of our guys to win situationally.
All right, we good? Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I know a lot more. It's different when you first coming in and getting the hang of everything, meeting new people. I mean, you're still meeting new people, but you know the system a little bit better. You know the schedule's a little bit better. You know what to expect every day.
Does that make for better practices for you? Do you think, with your mind a little more at ease?
I think so. I think that first year when you're just coming into the NFL, you know, the outside stuff, like, you know, just being able to start getting paid and that kind of stuff, and just maturing and having the time to be like, okay, that's done with. I'm used to it now, and I think so. I think it helped a lot.
Jerome, do you feel in some ways that you have a large pair of shoes to fill? Everybody talks about, Kareem and his role, and now you have to play that role. Do you feel sort of pressure, or is that big shoes to fill for you?
I think it's big shoes to fill. Kareem obviously did great for us, and he's still a great running back, one of the great running backs in the free agency right now. But yeah, like you said, big shoes to fill for sure.
You didn't get hardly any running attempts, understandably, last year with three guys ahead of you. So how anxious are you to show everybody that you're a running back to be taken seriously?
Very anxious. Just still learning behind Chubb, and when the time comes and if I'm put into the game, I plan on to show everybody what I can do.
Jerome, to follow up on that question, kind of knowing what you were able to do in the return game last year, even though you didn't get touches, like how much confidence did that help build for you as a rookie?
It helped a lot. It helped me get a feel for the speed of the game, and getting tackled by big dudes, and pretty much the top of the top. So it helped a lot.
What was the big thing you've learned from Nick? Just being around him the last year or so.
How to be a pro. Nick does 90, well, I say 100% everything right. Meetings on time. Pretty much Nick told me he ain't been fine or late to a meeting since he been in the NFL. So, taking notes in every meeting. If you watch practice, you'll see him burst 25 yards, sometimes all the way to the end zone, even though we on the 20-yard line. Bursting to the end zone, finishing every play. He pretty much still teaching us how to be pros.
You gonna try squatting 600 like he does?
Yeah, nah, I'm gonna leave that to Nick.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what do you think when you see those videos of him in the off season, just putting in that kind of work?
I don't know how long he's been in the league, but to be able to do that this far into it, it's like, man, like that's a lot to like. I'm not gonna say try to keep up with, but it's a lot to be like, that's where I want to be able to say I'm that far along later in my life, and I'm able to still do those kind of things.
There's no doubt your receiving ability attracted you to the Browns to be drafted by them. But what kind of running back do you see yourself evolving into over the course of your career?
Pretty much whatever the team need me to be. They need me to catch the ball out of the backfield, I'll do that. They need me to run the ball, I'll do that too.
Given that you didn't have that many rushing attempts last year during the regular season, do you feel like this preseason is really important for you to get those reps under your belt?
I think so, yeah. For the most part, though, I'm going to leave that up to Coach Stefanski with the whole preseason thing.
We see you in practice.
Sorry, going into year 2, is there something from your game that last year you thought, going into this year, I'm going to make this a point of emphasis, this is what I'm going to focus on?
Yeah, pass protection and knowing what I'm supposed to do in pass protection, and the routes, learning the offense. So, yeah, like getting more comfortable in pass pro. That's one thing that I try to get better at this offseason. And also knowing the playbook so that I'm not confused.
Do you feel like you're ready to seize the opportunity that you have and get on the field this year?
I think so. I think, training camp would be a big help, going through the practices, learning, getting stuff live speed and pads against our defense. And, whoever else, I think that'll be big and continue to help me move forward for the season.
We see you in practice where you're breaking free, getting out in the open field, stuff like that. Just in your second year, how would you describe your field position?
I think it's pretty good. I feel like you can always be better, so I feel like I can also get better in that area. I don't think you ever, I guess you can say, arrive at something. I feel like you can always get better at it, so I feel like it's something I can get better at.
Did you grow to like the kick return job? Something you never did before?
Yeah, I did grow to like it. I liked it a lot. It was something to get me on the field, and something also to help the team. But yeah, I think I liked it a lot, and I hadn't done it since I was in high school. I didn't return kicks in college, So yeah, I think it was fun to do.
Jerome, we keep hearing that Nick is going to be catching the ball out of the backfield more this season. So I'm just wondering, you know, I kind of thought that was going to be a little bit more of your role, sort of come in a little bit. Does that, when you know that or hear that, does that make you want to even prove it more out here that, you know, that you're the right guy for that job?
You could say that, but Nick does catch the ball out of the backfield really well. I don't think there's nothing Nick can't do. But like you said, yeah, I would like to show that I could do that too. But you know,
You good?
Thanks, Jerome.
Thanks,
Jerome.
Jerome.
Good to see you.
Thanks, Chris.
Made it to noon and I haven't forgotten my recorder yet.
Good job, man.
I'm gonna put a little
We'll see if I make it.
bungee cord or
If I don't leave it at Kevin, then we really.
That means made it. Imagine if you could do that 2 days in a row. Take it day by day.
Stacking days. Never mess with the winning streak.